Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a match between Serral and Haz from Nation Wars 2019 Finland versus Chinese Taipei, otherwise known as Taiwan. Top left-hand corner here on Thunderbird is the, what is this, blue Zerg player, Serral. You guys, my brain wanted me to say yellow there so bad. Yellow's not even a standard color in these. And in the bottom right, the red Protoss player, Haz. Okay. Goodness gracious, brain. What is wrong with you? Now, Haz, as we can see based on this pylon placement, is not going for a very safe one-gate expand. I mean, he could be, but against a Zerg, you want to wall off down here on this map. Or here for extra third base access. But as it stands, this probe is moving in. The drone is down here early from Serral, waiting for all sorts of shenanigans. But he does go for the 16 hatch because you can hold Haz shenanigans with a 16 hatch if you're Serral. I probably couldn't hold Haz shenanigans with a 16 hatch. But the Overlord is here to follow their probe around, check and make sure the high ground doesn't get pylons tossed down on it, check and make sure behind the minerals don't get pylons tossed down on it. But as we've seen from Haz recently, he'll just throw a pylon right next to your hatch and be like, what up? See this? Right in full view of everybody. And he is making a forge. So we're good. This could be a cannon rush. This could be a fake out. It does force Serral to pull some drones off the line to try to deal with, oh my gosh, 3 drones. But 2 probes are here. Can 2 probes kill 3 drones? I don't know. Either way, this is a ton of lost mining time from Serral, but he sees the 2 probes, dedicates more drones to trying to make sure that nothing bad happens to him. Look at these drones patrolling everywhere. Like, where is it? Where are you going to toss it down? Probe says, you are making a pool before gas. Excellent, excellent. I think this might be it. Okay, so as Haz tosses down a pylon. Because of course he does. So he low grounds a pylon. But there are so many drones out. There's no chance on Earth that this pylon finishes. There's just not. He's not even all that worried about it, honestly. If a pylon comes up here and a pylon comes up on the high ground, they can cover each other. And that is annoying. And that is impossible to deal with. But that's not happening. See that cancel? Yeah. So, I mean, Serral, again, losing a ton of mining time. Haz is expanding behind this. And he's like, all right, I think that was good. So, for basically the cost of what? How many resources? Resources lost, 37. So 137 resources lost, including this pylon. I made Serral lose a ton of mining time and not get his third base up when he wanted to get his third base up. That seems like a fair trade to me. I mean, the third base is coming up. It's not probably as early as Serral wanted it to. His timings are all off. I'm sure he's annoyed a little bit, but it's Haz. You know what to expect because it's Haz. Adept. Cruising across the map, trying to see what damage she can do, and the answer is probably not much, actually. There are lings out. There are 4. The other ones are kind of scouting around, trying to see if there's anything else happening with Haz. Any kind of secondary cheese, like a proxy Stargate or something. But nope, nothing else. Oh, just kidding. There are shenanigans happening. There's a pylon right there for Haz, in a place that the lings have not scouted yet, because of course not. Why would you? Adept back here trying to kill some drones. Yeah, at least weakening a couple of them. Forcing one to turn into a spore, which is a win. And is the Adept going to get out alive? Oh, that's close. Just barely gets out alive. And then dies to a queen because she shaded into the main base. She could have gotten out alive if she shaded out here. She decided not to. Serral's third is on the way. Zergling do find the proxy Stargate. Hey, look at the secondary cheese. Behold, the secondary cheese from Haz gets scouted. Serral has just been shutting this down. Shutting it down ridiculously well. Haz is going for all 4 gases. Haz is tossing up a 2... Oh, is this Mass Oracle follow-up? This feels like Mass Oracle follow-up, if you ask me. Double Stargate? Maybe just Mass Phoenix. Mass Oracle used to be great. Haz is one of the people that really pioneered Mass Oracle on the professional stage and made it work, and actually forced Blizz to nerf oracles as a result. I mean, you know you did something good if Blizzard nerfs an entire unit because of what you've done on a big stage. Haz did that. This has got to be Phoenix, though. I just don't think Mass Oracle is viable anymore, especially not against Serral. But Serral comes in with a speedy Overlord, because of course he got speed. He didn't forget speed in all the chaos. I would have forgotten speed in all the chaos for sure. Now the Overlord comes in, sees the Stargate, making Phoenix, because you can see what they're building in here. See the... I can't zoom in that far when it's... There we go. See the Phoenix outline here? God, it's so easy to see if you have the time to just kind of stop and look at it, which I'm sure Serral did. So he's making Roach Warren, which is interesting. This is a way I've seen Mass Phoenix killed. from a Zerg player is just going so many roaches that the Phoenix can't kill them all. And they've dedicated so much into roach that they really don't have much of a ground game, especially Immortals. Especially no Immortals. So, yep, that's a lair. We're going to get some glial reconstitution. We're saturating 3 bases, 50 to 42 workers in favor of Serral. He doesn't need a ton of gas for this roach play. He's going to start making his extractors. There we go. Now, I'm going to guess he's 6 on 3, maybe 4, but not going to go for the full 6. Not for this roach / Ravager. I have to assume he's going to make some Ravagers, too. Ton of Queens out. Could see a Nidus. I mean, if you want to get your anti-air out on the other side of the map against these Phoenix, then a Nidus is pretty much the best way to do it, especially on Thunderbird, which is a huge map. Has bringing these Adepts in, recognizing there's a good chance they die, but also you got to kill some of these drones or you're just going to get overrun, especially by Serral. And the Adepts, there you go. I'm telling you, go in the main base, get surrounded by Speedlings and die, but another couple drones down is worth the exchange for Has. It's a bit of a desperate exchange, but it's an exchange nevertheless. Robotics facility coming in. So he might be able to start making some Immortals here. I mean, Serral hasn't actually started making any roaches at all yet. And there's your Nidus. Okay, so, yep. We're looking at Nidus play, we're looking at Queens, we're looking at roaches, and probably a bunch of Ravagers here too. He is taking a 5th, nope, that's a 4th extractor. Yeah, so 4 gas makes sense. Keeping one of them inside of his main for reasons. I don't know why. Somebody explain to me in the comments why pros leave one of their gas in the mains unextracted for a while. It's like one of the last gas they'll take when they're on 3 base, and I don't get it. Queen count here, pretty scary stuff. Phoenix count, fairly scary too, but not scary enough. Ling's checking out. What we're looking at here is going to be, well, they're definitely an Immortal in production. And here comes the Nidus. So this isn't intended to Nidus inside the house. Oh, check this action out. He found it. He found the Nidus, but these Lings are chomping on these sentries and these stalkers. They got one of them. Oh boy, million Queens are here. By a million, I want to say like 9, because it is. It's 9 Queens on the field, more in production all the time. Ravagers coming in on this side of the map. I don't know why you wouldn't just make the Ravagers over here and then put them through the Nidus, but it's cool, I guess. So here we are. Zerg is at your front door because of the power of the Nidus Worm. And another Nidus is coming up. And this is kind of just standard for dealing with stuff that Has is doing here. I've seen more Zergs do this against Has-style shenanigans, even if it's not Has, right? Just Has-style shenanigans. As the Phoenix do pick off a couple Ravagers, the Zerglings are enough to shut down this 3rd base. I think Has is just going to sack it. He doesn't want to use Graviton Beam energy on the Phoenix to lift and kill those Zerglings when he needs it to lift and kill Ravagers and Queens instead, if possible. Good transfuses, though. And that Ravager is still alive. Thank you for asking. I mean, the Queens are hitting. Their shield batteries defending. There's a couple Immortals back here. Just rub off. Rub off. Anything that gets close enough is getting wrecked by these Immortals. And the Ravagers can shoot through here on the Immortals. But again, shield batteries are nice. And Has is not in the worst position of all time. I guess maybe losing these Warp Gates is super bad. And maybe there are enough Queens here that Has might just tap out. He's going for it, though. He's bringing the Phoenix in. He's lifting all the stuff. A bunch of the Zerg went back into the Nidus, which is a ton of fun. I'm cool with that. But another Nidus popped out in the main. Surprise! Full surprise. Going to take out a couple pylons. Maybe try to supply block Has. Can't quite do it. The natural base is in trouble. Nidus Worm down. This Nidus Worm, if this was killed, I don't know, man. Serral's getting a 4th base. I was trying to think of a way that Has can win this game. I just don't see it. I really don't. And I mean, this is kind of the... Oh, Creep's actually blocking Has's attempt to retake his 3rd. That's insult to injury right there. It's 3,000 resources lost for Has and 2,300 for Serral. And I mean, the Phoenix can't do much. Hydras are out now. And Hydras in numbers with Queens in numbers that the Phoenix don't really want to engage. Got a spore, a couple spores at each base. Overlords are clustered around the spores, trying to keep them alive, trying to not be supply blocked, but it's 150 to 108 supply, as Todd would say. Look at the supply. Twilight Council in production from Has. Because, you know, charge is good, I guess. These Phoenix are trying to kill drones and trying to kill Overlords at the same time, and there's really not much to stop this. But there's a Nidus Worm down here, and a bunch of units are just walking across the map anyway because they have legs, unlike Queens. Spore gets picked off, 12 drones down. It is 51 to 49 workers. Has a lead. But this Nidus coming up inside the main base. Oh, there's creep in here. There's creep in here. This is just so much army. 102 to 59. I mean, force fields are good. Okay, force fields are a good unit. But at the end of the day, this is just too much DPS and too much tankiness. And that's your good game for game number 1 of our sneaky twofer. But Serral does put one over on Haz here, representing Taiwan. Holds the Haz-style cheese from the man himself, Haz, and then goes for the counterattack. Doesn't exactly win with it per se, but the follow-up to the counterattack wins. And Serral comes out of it victorious. Woo! So well done by him here in game number 1, because that's how you do it, man. That is how you do it if you're Zerg. If you've struggled against Haz-style cheese in the past, pull extra drones off. Yes, you do have to worry about lost mining time, but you'll notice that Serral wasn't as worried about it as to not do it, right? He recognizes the Protoss player sacrificing a lot to make this happen. You shut it down with your drones. You still go for the 16 hatch. You get a pull as soon as you can. You pull drones. You kill cannons. You don't worry about pylons as much. And then you get a roach warren up and you counterattack with the Nidus and Queens and Ravagers. And yes, a good Protoss might be able to hold it. As we saw here, the initial hold was enough, but he lost his third base, which is a problem. Serral droned a ton while he was waiting for the tech to get Nidus, you'll notice. Didn't make a bunch of roaches in advance. Made them after he had the economy, and that's how you do a Zerg. You hold off with as few army units as possible, droning a ton, and then when you can, Mr. Haz has left the game, you make the units, and you push out, and you have a huge, strong economy behind it. Easier said than done, right? If Haz had decided to show up with like 5 or 6 adepts instead of the 2 that he did, Serral would have had to scout it, make some additional Zerglings to handle it, maybe throw up a spine or 2. But you have to adjust to what your opponent is doing. And Haz, I don't know what Haz could do. Once the initial attempt was shut down, it's just, I don't know. So much has been dedicated to it. So much lost mining time on the 2 probes, the cannon, and the pylon. That being this far behind against somebody like Serral is just death. I don't know what you do there. But maybe somebody in the comments can explain. Is there a way to recover from this? Probably at our level, right? Probably at platinum, gold, diamond. It's our level. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out game number 2 here of our Serral sneaky twofer. So let's go ahead and we'll be right back. We're here on Acropolis for game 2 of our sneaky twofer, Serral versus Zioness. Top left-hand corner, it's Serral. Bottom right, it is Zion S here. According to Wikipedia, he's a Peruvian player, but this is in the replay pack for Chinese Taipei versus Finland from the round of 24. So, not sure if Zion S has dual citizenship with Chinese Taipei, but maybe he does. I couldn't find anything about it on the Wikipedia page, but if you have any information about it, let me know. Hoorah! Let's do this thing. What are we looking at? It is not going to be Haz style, that's for sure. This probe would already be moving out across the map. Serral brings the Zergling down a little bit early just to make sure there's not a pylon down here, and then tosses up the hatch at 16 supply. Just a bit of being careful, recognizing this is a teammate of Haz. So the odds of cheese are a little bit higher than your average Protoss you might be playing in Nation Wars. So we know what Serral's going to do here. He's not being cheesed, so he's going to go 16, 18, 17, which is all fine and dandy and well and good. And probably a 1-gate expand here from Zion S, honestly. The probe comes in, sees the timing on the hatch, recognizes not a pool first play, and there you go. Nexus going down right on time here for the 1-gate expands. First gas, Cyber Core, second pylon, second gas, and then you're off to the races. Once the Cyber Core is done, you can do whatever you want. But 1-gate expand, if you're Protoss and not doing a 1-gate expand, you're doing it wrong. I really don't know how to say it any nicer than that. There's the Cyber Core. Go to lotv.spawningtool.com, just search 1-gate expand into whatever, right? And most of the builds you find on lotv.spawningtool.com under build orders are going to start with a 1-gate expand. It's just how it is. It's like for Zerg. Go 16, 18, 17, get a third base up at around 2.5 minutes, get your queens, and maybe start speed, and then go for something. Quick Lair, Roach Warren, maybe a Baneling Nest. There's just a lot of options from there, but the openings are pretty much the same all the time. They're economical, they're aggressive, there's no reason not to do them. If you're struggling, like you can't get out of gold, you can't get out of platinum, a build order is going to help you immensely in the StarCraft universe. So Warp Gate coming in. Stalker on the way. Not an Adept first. Stalker really interested in killing this Overlord. Overlord interested in hanging out on this little hidey hole spot where he cannot be seen, but he can see all the things. Blizzard actually came out with an basically requesting map makers to not always make one of these for Overlords. You don't have to. They said it's not a requirement we gave ya. I'm not sure why every map maker feels the need to give little Overlord perchy spots for Zerg these days. As a Zerg player, I'm not complaining about it, but Terrans and Protoss hate it. So Overlord comes down, recognizing, yeah, maybe we'll just not be here forever. Being here for a little bit is nice, though. Zerglings trying to see, anybody moving out? Nah, third base is totally safe down there. Like I said, third base, drone, 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 drone. Drone, 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 drone. When I was a newer player, I would make too many lings here, and you're not getting through this with too many lings. A Baneling bus is not effective either, especially if your opponent has a sentry, especially if they've scouted your Baneling nest, and they're ready for it, and they have like 3 or 4 sentries, and then you're definitely not Baneling busting, and it's a bad feeling. Stargate coming in. Ye old Stargate opening, as it were. Overlord scouts it, even without speed, because Serral's Overlords are sneaky. They have a 100 level sneak to them. From Skyrim, somehow, it was gifted them. Trying to get Overlord speed, but not going to be in time, my brother. Fare thee well, Overlord. Hallucinated Phoenix says, what's up? And it's not actually an Oracle. It's a Void Ray. Hey! Zioness doing some different stuff. I love different stuff in my StarCraft. In my StarCraft soup, if I get different things, I am pleased. Roach Warren coming up from Serral. Just a safety Roach Warren here at about 4 minutes. Safety spores are something I like to do too. I don't know why he's not making spores, to be honest with you. There you go. He just started one. So he saw the timing on the Stargate, recognized it was just coming in. So Oracles weren't going to show up at the traditional timing of, 3:45, 4. It's a little bit later than that, and he's throwing down spores later as required. It's just super smart stuff. You know what's pretty good against Zerglings? It's Void Rays. Not great, but they will infinitely kill Zerglings forever and ever. Not very fast, but they don't run out of energy like Oracles do. Therefore, they're not bad, right? If you're relying entirely on the Void Ray to kill Zerglings, no. It's not going to be good for you. But if you have some depth support, maybe a couple sentries, maybe a couple stalkers shooting, and the Void Rays are helping, it's really not bad. I mean, the Zerglings aren't even trying to do anything here. They recognize if they hold still long enough, they're all going to die, which is why they're continuing to run around like they're on Ritalin. Actually, doesn't Ritalin calm you down? What did you just cancel? Dang it, Sarah, what did you just cancel? Was he... Okay, maybe an evolution chamber. Because I don't know what's... Maybe a Baneling nest? It had to be something pre-lair, because he canceled it before the lair popped. And look, he took the second gas in his main earlier this time. I don't know, man. Gas taking timings really weird me out. I'm surprised if he is not going to make a Hydralisk then. Hydras are super good against Void Rays. Like, stupidly good at trading against Voids. This Void is not interested in going on the creep, because, obviously, Queens will destroy him, too. Oh, no, the Zerglings got into the natural, or the third base, rather. Guys, you could maybe save it. Probe stacking, another Void Ray comes in, and the shield battery gets canceled, but the base stays alive, and that's nice. It's mass Void Ray. Look at this stuff. Look at these shenanigans we're seeing right now. Mass Void Ray shenanigans. Who does this? Zioness does this, I can tell you that much. So is Serral doing the same thing? Serral's like, fine. You know what's really good against Void Rays? Queens. How do I get Queens across the map quickly? Well, it's gonna Nidus. Go to Nidus. Who needs Nidus Swarm Host? I'm gonna go Nidus Queen against this mass Void Ray stuff. And it's gonna work because my name is Serral T. Zerg. Did you know that's officially his name? Is Serral T. Zerg. He got it changed legally in Finland. So another Nidus coming up a little bit closer. The follow-up Nidus is fine. And let third base death commence. As there are enough Queens here to deal with these Void Rays. They know that, by the way. They're like, yeah, we're not engaging here until shield batteries are helping us. Prismatic alignment versus these roaches would be not bad. The roaches... Actually, does everybody go home? Whoa. Got another Nidus coming up. Almost. No, Void Ray shuts that down. Okay. All right. Serral has to commit over here. If the Void Rays can kill the roaches, everybody else's jobs are going to be a lot easier. But they keep going after the Queens. The micro here from Zioness is not very good. He might just... Is he going to sack his third? Maybe. Is that another... Whoa, this one came up. This one came up. So I think this might be GG. As I look at it here, Army Supply 64-40. Void Rays are being pumped, but against all of the queens in the known universe, it's not going to be a good idea here for Zioness. This is why we don't see Void Rays versus queens, or versus Zerg in general, is just because it gives queens a lot to do and it gives hiders a lot to do, and that is your good game. Serral wins his thing 2-0 pretty handily against his Chinese Taipei opponents. Resources lost 4,000 to 1,000. It was, yeah, I mean, let this be an object lesson to you, fellow Protoss, is why you don't go Void Rays against Zerg. You may have noticed that other players never do this. You notice that Stats never does it. Classic never does it. Actually, I think Classic did do it. I just cast a Classic versus Dark match, and there were Void Rays, and it was a good game. But spoiler alert, Classic did not win. So yeah, Void Rays win percentage against elite level Zergs approximately 2%, I would say, over the last 6 months. Don't make Void Rays. Maybe one. You can make one to clear out Overlords, but a Phoenix does a good job with that too and is faster and better at scouting and all sorts of things. So yeah, Void Rays not great. If you want to get a big Sky Toss army and you have Void Rays specifically counter the Corruptors, that's better. But opening Void Ray is just asking for this stuff to show up. I know I'm victim blaming here, but there are better ways. There are better ways to try to take down Serral than going mass Void Ray. All right. All right. Well, that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and a sneaky twofer with Serral. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.